we've just seen the final deadline for Pi just pass. It was just over a day ago at this point, actually just under a day ago. And so this is what we've seen happen just recently. This obviously is going to be very, very big news, because could potentially see up to billions of dollars in Pi burned. And I guess I should clarify in that it's not technically going to get like burned as in it's out of circulation forever. It will just get returned back into the pool that can be distributed over time. So essentially it kind of boosts the ability for those who are actively using the network to actually receive rewards, things like that. So I want to talk a little bit about that, because I do think we are going to be seeing some potentially pretty interesting things. Hopefully we get some stats out of that. We can see how much of like the total possible allocatable could come back into the overall network, what we're going to see from that, a lot of that type of stuff. I do think that'll be a very, very important to know. It looks like I think there's about 1 to 2 billion Pi that were kind of like not circulating, but like essentially available to be issued. And so, maybe all of that comes back, maybe some of it. I don't exactly know for sure how that'll look for certain. So we are going to go kind of take a closer look and a more of a deep dive into that today. Also, just kind of take a look at the Pi chart, see how that's looking, all that type of stuff. But first, let's go take a look at the crypto bubbles. What we can see here, obviously a green day, things looking pretty nice, I would say overall. Obviously Pi down 13% today, so Pi itself not looking particularly good. But overall, we can see the majority of the market up pretty decent. SUI up 8.2%. We'll be looking to make a video about that over here the next couple of days. We need to do an update on SUI. Obviously, it's been a minute since we've seen or heard about SUI, at least on this channel. But I do still think, now that we're starting to see some movement coming out of SUI, it's going to be worth taking a look at and kind of reassessing kind of where we're at and what we're seeing there. We are seeing Solana start to move again, which is really nice. Obviously, over the past month here, things have been looking really, really rough for Solana. So the fact that we are kind of starting to see that bounce is a good thing, I would say, overall. Moving on, though, we're still down for the week. We're still down for the month. Things still looking bad overall. We do have a ways for us to go to see a decent level of recovery, but we are starting to see a little bit of that recovery coming through, which is good to see, of course, overall. Now, if we do look at the chart here, we can see I've kind of identified 4 major levels of support and resistance here that I want to take a close look at, because I do think these are going to be some pretty large and pretty major supports that we do need to take a look at, and also kind of some major resistances to the upside. So what we can see here, we're sitting at around $1.45. We can see to the downside, we've got a decent level of support forming here at about the $1.30 range, and then a decent level of support / resistance previously, as we've seen here at about the $1.78 range. And then we've got one here at about that psychological $2 range, which again, this is very, very common. This is pretty standard. We can see it acting as a support kind of previously, and then as a resistance before that. And then we did see a little bit of resistance up, or both support and resistance again at this point around $2.32. So again, to the upside, we kind of have 3 major points at which we'd be looking to kind of break through. And then to the downside, we kind of have this major level right here. If I personally would be looking to DCA into Pi at this level, I probably, if I had no position, would maybe be looking to open 10 to 30% of a position, kind of right where we stand at this level. Maybe DCA in a little bit more at kind of like the $1.30 range. And potentially, if you want to go even below that, maybe we kind of look to maybe like fully mortgage the farm or whatever, down like the 78-cent range. But again, you just never know for sure. So you have to make sure that you're kind of able to buy as it goes down further, or you're at least not leverage trading or doing anything like that. So if it does go down way far and you feel comfortable and confident in the project, then you at least have the ability to kind of get back in or add more, or at least not get liquidated from your position, right? And so what we can see here, though, is RSI is showing us that we're looking very, very low, almost oversold here. We're getting very, very close to that. We've been oversold in the past. When we saw this kind of level down here where I was showing you the support, this is where we were, in fact, oversold previously. So I think that if we do come back down to this level, this is very possibly the bottom, but again, we just don't know that for sure, right? So like I said, maybe start a small position here, sell out as we kind of go up, and buy more as we kind of go down. I think, to me, that seems to make the most sense. But again, of course, none of this is financial advice. You need to make your own decision. you need to do all that. I can't really help you there. But at least from what we're seeing on the chart, I think that kind of seems to make the most sense to me. Again, we still haven't really seen a major exchange listing from Pi yet. I mean, Binance and Coinbase are kind of the two big ones. Or I guess I should clarify when I say we haven't seen a major one. The two major ones that we want to see are Binance and Coinbase. We have not seen either of those yet, and so we are kind of anxiously awaiting for those, in my opinion at least. However, there are plenty of places to trade Pi. You can trade at spot, you could trade at leverage, all depending on kind of what your skill level and what your comfort level is, more importantly. I do have a link in the description below to BTCC if you are interested. They are offering 10% bonuses on first-time deposits, which is a really, really good deal if that is something you're interested in, as well as extra bonuses of up to $10,055 per user, along with no VPN or KYC necessary if that's something that you're interested in. So like I said, feel free to check that out if that's something that you're kind of looking forward to or looking toward or looking to get involved with trading, want to learn. As you can see, they also do have the demo account or the demo trading button down here as well. I'm traveling, so I'm not logged in currently, but I've got an account. I do all this type of stuff, so I actually do even have positions open in the demo trading account just to kind of show how easy it is to use and also to kind of track some of the things that we talk about more regularly on the channel. So that's what we want to talk about there. Now I want to go a little bit more in detail into the news that we've seen here about how Pi said that the final reminder, the grace period, requires both KYC and mainnet migration to be completed by 8 a.m. UTC on March 14th, 2025 to avoid forfeiting most of your Pi other than Pi mined within the rolling window of the last 6 months before your Pi is migrated. Learn more, and I basically like learn more below, right? So what we can see is the final deadline extension for the grace period of essentially transitioning yourself onto the Pi mainnet is over. It's done. At this point in time, again, from kind of what it sounds like, most of the Pi that the people have mined in the past, if they did not complete their KYC, it's gone, right? So we'll get a good general sense of kind of how many this is. As I said kind of earlier on in the video, this does not mean that it's getting burnt as in removed from circulation forever. It's just going to go back into the mining pool where, kind of anybody who's mining Pi can essentially access these rewards. As we've talked about kind of a little bit in the past with the tokenomics and all that type of stuff, Pi essentially is a currency that you can mine, and it's mined over a very long period of time. There's 100 billion in circulation, or there's 100 billion maximum. I think there's about 10-ish billion in circulation currently. So about, 10% or just over 10% of the total circulation. And then I think active circulating supply is somewhere around 8 or 9 billion. If, again, this is all from memory, if I'm remembering correctly. So again, that's about 8 to 9% of the total circulating supply actually circulating right now. And we're looking at about a $12 billion market cap. So a very, very, very large project. It's been very, very successful so far, in my opinion. And, it'll be interesting to see kind of how this continues along. I think this kind of KYC situation, having the grace periods and all that, I know that they're trying to kind of move forward and kind of just get a better sense of what is actually outstanding or owed, all this type of stuff. So the fact that they're actually kind of proceeding with this KYC, I think it makes sense, but it's also one of those things that, this could frustrate some people just because they missed the KYC. However, I do think that they've been very, very transparent about what, how you need to do it, the time frames, the timelines, all that type of stuff. So, I don't think it's the end of the world, but I do think it, this will give us a better idea of like, well, how much was burnt, how much kind of goes back into the mining pool, a lot of that type of stuff. And this could potentially kind of bring down the circulating or keep the circulating supply down lower for longer. Again, when and how long and all that type of stuff, we don't know for sure. But that is something that I do think would potentially be a short-term benefit or a short-term bonus for the Pi network. So we'll have to see how it goes. Also, one other thing that I did want to talk to you guys about is I did actually just recently open a Patreon account, and this provides access to a Discord for a private community if this is something that you're interested in. Discord is something that I've settled on mainly because I know that a lot of people use it. I'm considering doing something like Open Chat or Telegram, things like that. But one of the things with that, or one of the considerations, is bots and spam and all this type of stuff is definitely kind of quite problematic. And so I'm trying to kind of do a little bit of a slow roll phased approach just to make sure that people are staying safe, a lot of that type of stuff. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at right now. If you are interested, again, links for all this type of stuff are in the description below. If you're looking for an exchange, if you're looking to sign up with the Patreon, any of that type of thing. So like I said, links, description below, all that type of good stuff. Hopefully you did find the information in this video useful. If you did, a like and a subscribe really do help me out. Also, if you have any thoughts, feelings, comments, stuff like that, just drop those in the comment section. I'd love to hear what your guys' thoughts are. What do you think about this whole like KYC situation from Pi? Do you think it's a good thing, it's a bad thing, required, not required? I think the KYC thing is actually kind of a little bit interesting, because even though it may fly in the face of some of the like kind of privacy or anonymity, if I said that word correctly, I think a lot of that stuff is maybe it flies a little bit in the face of kind of the core thesis or core user values of crypto. However, when you can verify that you have 40 million users, 50 million users, 60 million users, whatever that is, that I would say adds a very strong validation to your community and to the ecosystem that you're building. Because if you can claim to have 60 million accounts, but how many of those are actually real people, right? And so when you have this KYC process, I think this does actually go a long way in terms of determining the value for some of these projects and for some people looking to build on the Pi network as well, right? And so anyway, that's kind of where I'm seeing the kind of the value with Pi right now. It'll be interesting. Obviously, the circulating supply is massive, and so I do think that's going to force natural sell pressure onto the Pi token over a long period of time. But at least for right now, there's a lot of interest, there's a lot of hype. I think there's a lot of people who are looking to get involved with the Pi coin. And so, maybe long-term, like long-term holding isn't the best, but I do definitely think this is a great time to be trading Pi, at least for right now. Again, obviously that can always change, but for right now, I do think that this looks pretty good. So we'll see how it goes. Obviously, I'll keep you guys updated over time, let you know kind of what my thoughts and feelings and things like that are with Pi. Obviously, I do try to be, honest and transparent, all that type of stuff. So if I have, something where, I start to get a little bit of a sentiment shift or something like that, obviously you guys will be the first people to know. So we'll go from there. Like I said, hopefully you found the information in this video useful. A like and a subscribe really do help, all that type of good stuff. So anyway, thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next one.